So, being in a church that's a caring community, I've spent many a year and time doing meals for people who had a sick person in their home or deaths or whatever. And then when I had cancer 12 years ago, I think it was a real change in my faith to have to be the one that was being ministered to. And it was a change to me in understanding that this community didn't just feel obligated to do it, but wanted to do it. They couldn't do anything about the cancer, but they could take care of us and our family. And so that was a really, I think, a turning point for me in my faith, is seeing that done and experiencing that. And cancer is 10 years behind us now, but 12 years behind us now, but that has stuck with me, of the way that people showed their love and their faith by supporting not just me, but the whole family. Especially, I think, people reaching out to Trent, knowing that cancer doesn't just affect he's the one with small children, wondering if he was going to be raising small children alone and things like that, and the care that people wrapped around us during that time. We had people, we still don't know exactly who.
I don't know who raked the yard that day.
Raked the yard. We came home from treatment one day and the yard had been raked.
And the leaves were gone.
So
too.
it wasn't
wasn't even evidence that it had been done.
It wasn't about people wanting to be thanked or wanting to be, it was just about caring for us.
Well, and it let you know what, from a receiving end, you understand what that means. Mm-hmm. And therefore it informs your actions going forward as you do it for others. Things happen to people and you can't do anything about it. But you can show up with a pot of love, or a green bean casserole. And I now know what that means. That is a big deal. It's a big deal because it is something you can do.
Well, and then dealing with now more recently, our daughter went through a lot of mental health issues and ended up in a residential treatment facility for a year, and
15 months.
It was very obviously a really, really difficult time for the family. And I've heard other families talk about it being a secret, really, and people not knowing and not, being afraid to tell people and wondering what people would think, and people being weird, and our kid's name was in the bulletin every week.
Yeah.
People reached out to us and cared for us and her, and when she was home, she was treated, we're glad you're here and we love you and we miss you, and there was no there wasn't stigma associated with that in this community.
And we've there is humor in everything. We've laughed that your kid breaks a leg or something, and you do get the casserole. But when there's this great mystery about something, an illness that people don't understand, they go away. Well, this place didn't do that. I mean,
we may have even gotten a casserole.
Well, I think we got plenty of casseroles as a result of that. But Kenan, as part of a project she did, she had a worship service here. She's decided she wants to be a worship leader, and so part of her recovery, her treatment, was telling her story and being open with it. So there was a worship service here that she did. She sang and gave a testimony, I guess you would call it. And I think, there's a lot of download of information. And I think I could tell afterwards when people saw us that they were still processing it. You know, and I could tell it because I had done it. You know, I'd done it over time. But the biggest thing is that was an enormous support for Keenan. I mean, that was Lutherans on a Wednesday night in the summer coming out, and the church was full, and it was just a great thing to see that support, and it meant everything to Keenan to see that. So, you know, there are groups in this community, and they are built around caring, and one of them is just gut-wrenching is the ladies that quilt. They share my Sunday school room, you know, so I see it in the beginnings of it and everything. And so the seniors get quilts as they go to college, and it was as Keenan was going into treatment.
A little bit before that.
Yeah. And I don't know if she had admired one or something in the Sunday school room, but one of the ladies, you know, sort of aside, just brought it to Keenan, and he said, you know, we want this to be a comfort to you, that, you know, that because we have talked about you and we have prayed about you while we're quilting, and so that was just a great thing for Keenan. She's got it, she loves it, she took it with her to treatment, and you know, it's just a constant reminder of that caring of those ladies as they sit around and quilt.
All of these groups, even if they don't have a specific, you know, like the meals or ministry or whatever, they become a small group that cares about, you know, their people in their group. So when something happens, they rally, you know, when just having the communities and the different groups to support, both when you're the one going through the thing, but also when there's somebody you love going through something and you want to do something and you don't know what to do. There's always a group or a person or whatever figuring that out so that you can link in. And money is always a root of, you know, disagreements and planning, and you know, every year there's other places that money could be going. There's colleges, you know, we've got a college student and a high school senior in a 80-year-old house we're trying to keep from falling down, and, you know, aging parents on the horizon, and, you know, all of that. So there's always reason to not. But, you know, given, and the longer we go, the more it's true, the importance that this community has had, and, you know, it's we feel like we have to support that.
Well, it's just what's important to you, and it's an opportunity to participate in something larger. I mean, I know that financially, I can't necessarily make a difference. We can't necessarily make a difference in social cause X. But as part of this community, we can.
I'm Beth Trump, and I've been asked to talk about outreach with St. Andrews. I'm the chair or co-chair of the social ministry team.
And I'm Steve Slice. I participate in Family Promise. That's why I've been asked to talk about outreach. I think outreach beyond the walls of St. Andrews Lutheran Church is important, because that's simply put what we're called to do.
You know, the outreach is important to me because it's the way we live out our faith. It's an expression of who we are as Christians, and it's what we should do. St. Andrews reaches out in so many different ways into the community. We have so many opportunities that we offer our members, from Family Promise, which Steve's going to talk about. He does a great job with that. We have a relationship with E.E. Taylor Elementary School. We deliver backpacks full of food to them, every month. We do an angel tree for them at Christmas. We collect school supplies during August. So we have a really good connection to that lower income school that's here in our community. We contribute to Virginia Wingard's food pantry. We participate in homeworks projects. We support the Kairos prison ministry. We have a sister church in Tanzania that we've provided a laptop and other resources to them through that relationship. And we also collected $50,000 for a water purification system there. Our old parsonage was converted into what we call a welcome house for refugees, which is a transitional home for refugees that come in from all over the world through Lutheran Services of the Carolinas. We also allow our facilities to be used by outside groups like AA and NA and by the Cairn Baptist Church for their worship services. So we make the facilities available to all of those groups as well. In April, this is really exciting. We participate in Project Inasmuch, and this past year we offered opportunities we had over 100 members to volunteer in various ways throughout the whole month of April, from performing yard work for elderly folks. We packed food boxes. We created care kits for a lot of people. We delivered flowers to nursing homes. We prepared food, book bags for English as a second language students, and we even took a group and sang at a lower income nursing home. The social ministry team has also allotted a budget every year for distribution to various groups in our local community, such as like this year we've contributed to Harvest Hope and to Washington Street Soup Kitchen Ministry, to Sister Care, to Senior Resources, Free Medical Clinic, Cooperative Ministry. So we're able to reach out to the community in those ways as well. And we also gave an individual grant to a young lady in our own congregation who traveled to South America to dance with a Christian dance team.
Beth, let me tell you a story about the Family Promise Homeless Ministry that we support at St. Andrews. Earlier in the year, this year, I overheard a conversation between the three families. And two of the families had stayed with us before, and they had cycled through all the churches in the homeless ministry, and they were back staying with us. And the third family was staying with us for the first time. It was actually their first week in the Family Promise Homeless Ministry. And the two families were telling this third family that St. Andrews was the best church to stay at. And they talked about how we set up our bedrooms and how we set up the fellowship hall and the laundry and shower trailer that we get from another church. And then they started talking about the people. And they talked about how supportive and friendly the people of St. Andrews were. And, you know, regardless of whether you serve a meal or drive a car or help set up for the week or stay overnight, you're part of this ministry. You're supporting this ministry because your offerings are going toward supporting this church or providing this building for the Family Promise Homeless Ministry.
Steve, that doesn't surprise me a bit, the way that the families with the Family Promise group spoke about us, because St. Andrews is an incredibly giving community. Every time I think we've reached our limit in terms of giving, of resources in one way or another, or time, people come up with more. I'm always overwhelmed at the generosity of our members and this church in general.
You know, I give money to, I support the ministry here at St. Andrews Lutheran Church because I trust that it's going to be used appropriately and efficiently and effectively for meaningful programs, both inside and outside. I always tell people whenever I talk to them about St. Andrews Lutheran Church, the first thing I talk to them about is the welcome house, and the Family Promise Ministry and the Backpack Ministry, the things that we're doing to reach out to people outside of our walls.